Hello, everybody, and welcome to a different edition of our predictions for the upcoming King of the Ring tournament in Saudi Arabia. Ignore the fact that the game on the screen on the YouTube version just said Oklahoma City. It's definitely not coming from there. Um, Bit of a rogue setup today, so apologies for any audio interruptions or just anything. I'm using a temporary setup while the house is having renovations done. As always, joining me is the other half of the World YouTube Championship is Orca Shield.
Hello, hello. I have got your trophy here, which is probably going to stay with you again because I feel like this predictions contest is going to go one way.
I, I,
Um,
I'm not gonna be like champion it. I'm not gonna rub it in or anything because let's be honest, these are fairly, easy to predict.
to
So
be fair, there are two matches on this card that we might struggle to predict, and that's because we technically have to predict 7 matches of a
yeah,
five-match card,
yeah,
which we'll get to.
which we'll get to, but yeah, we'll see. So yeah, I like I said, we're gonna do our best. We're gonna carry on as if nothing's changed, but yeah, obviously things are a little bit different today. So um, well, I mean, What are your thoughts on the event itself?
It's a moneymaker for WWE. I think that's about it. That's as nice as we can be about this show. It's a glorified house show for me. You can't. I want to try and be like defend it because it's WWE and what they've done under Triple H is fantastic. But
Okay.
anything to do with Saudi is just. I'm fully expecting the winner of one of the matches on this card between Cody and Logan Paul, which we'll get to, just to end when Goldberg comes out and challenges
Oh,
Cody Rhodes.
oh, don't please, no
that
more Goldberg, no more Goldberg.
that's the type of stuff we can expect from the Saudi shows.
Oh, for fuck's sake! You're not wrong though. They did, bring Yokozuna back from the dead. So,
Exactly.
weirder things have happened. They managed to,
Uh,
they managed to rewind time and have the Brothers of Destruction versus DX. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they had the Hadron Collider, and they're just using it to just mess with time and space. Um, but I would like the King of the Ring tournament to mean something more than just a glorified house show
yeah.
abroad. I would like for it to actually mean something, and you never know. You never know.
They haven't said what it's for yet. They haven't said what it's actually, apart
No,
from being obviously crowned king and queen.
yeah, they haven't actually said what that means. To be crown king of the ring, or queen of the ring. They haven't said what it means at the end of the day. So we'll get to that. Um,
Yep.
shall
Shall I
we,
take us into the first match?
please, if you would?
So the first match of the evening is the Intercontinental Championship match between Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, and Big Bronson Reed in a triple threat match. So who have you got and why in this one?
Okay, I've got Sami Zayn. Uh, because I don't think they want to give the title to Bronson Reed at a house show. The same with Chad Gable. I think this is perfect to have an absolutely superb match because I shit on Sami Zayn a lot. I know I do, but I can't take away from his ability. He's a fantastic performer. He's really, really solid. Like he's a good worker. Bronson Reed is getting there. He's becoming more and more comfortable with being on the main roster and just doing his work, which is we just say it all the time for a guy his size. Wow, he moves really well. Like that's he's got a chance to showcase what he can do as well. And then Chad Gable's just Chad Gable. He's just incredible. So I think this is going to be a really good match, potentially match of the night. But yeah, Sami Zayn retains on this one. I don't think Triple H is wanting to let either of the other two guys get their moment here. like it just doesn't seem. It just
Yeah,
it's a bit like Backlash, isn't it? It's like
yeah,
except for the one title change at Backlash, but yeah, this feels definitely a foregone conclusion. So
yeah. It's yeah, I agree with you. I think Sammy's going to win. It's a bit of a weird one because Sammy obviously had a lot of issues with the Saudi shows when they first started going to Saudi, so he never actually appeared on any of them, and now
that's
he's
true.
defending his belt on them because of his religious beliefs and everything outside of wrestling. He just doesn't agree with what goes on in Saudi. So it's interesting they've got him on the card and managed to convince him to go on the card. I still think he's going to win, but I do think we are going to get a sort of shock of the night in that this will be the night where Otis and the Alpha Academy turn on Chad Gable.
Okay.
I think Chad's going to look like he's going to win, and Otis is going to just flatten Chad. Carry on that sort of story of.
Okay.
I do think that, unfortunately, as much as I love him, when Universe Mode makes its return, he's my champion. Big Bronson Reed, but I feel like he's going to be the one that takes the fall here. I don't think you're going to pin Sammy or Chad in this match.
No, I agree. Out of those three, he's definitely the pin taker. Yeah, unless it's a DQ finish, which
Can't be a
isn't.
DQ in Triple Threat.
Oh yeah.
Triple Threat, no DQ. So it's going to be a pinfall or submission from someone, and I think that Big Bronson Reed's going to be the one that takes that. So already we're 1-for-1, so your title is in safe hands. We'll keep that match till the end because that's the one which is going to differ. So we'll move on to the ones which we can probably safely predict. Which up next is the Women's World Championship match between Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan.
Yeah, Becky retains, I think. I don't I just have to, I don't know what it is. Again, it's man, I don't know. I don't actually. You know what? I'm not sure. Like, do do we think that this is like that? Do we? Okay, right. I'm trying to. This is my ADHD on full overdrive. Do we think that Becky is an interim champion?
She shouldn't. Well, she shouldn't be in this position. It's only that Rhea is either injured or pregnant. We don't know what's actually happened to Rhea just yet. Kayfabe it's injury, but there are rumors that she is expecting little Rhea.
Yeah,
Mammy will become Mammy.
yeah. Mammy will become mummy.
Yeah.
Oh, did I say Lynch? I did. No, I'm gonna go with Liv. I think Becky is interim champion. Like when some high profile manager gets sacked from a football club and then like the B team coach takes over.
Yeah.
But he's swiftly replaced. I think Becky is that interim manager. She's that interim champion. Just to because it's good to put the belt on her because she's got that history, but at the same time it's like yeah, I no, I'm changing my mind. I think Liv Morgan's going over here.
Okay. Well, we're going to differ then because I think that Becky's going to retain here.
Okay.
I think that as much as I want your prediction to be correct because I love Liv Morgan, I want Liv Morgan to go on a run with that belt.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Liv Revenge tour is doing fantastic, and I don't want it to stop here. However,
It doesn't have to.
I think at the minute, Becky is still not signed a new contract, whereas Seth has. I think everyone knows it's coming. I think there's no real question in my mind that Becky's not going to sign that contract and stay with WWE for the rest of her career. But if WWE want to sweeten that up and hurry that contract signing along, you keep her as the champion for now. And I think also with this being a glorified B show, I don't think that Triple H is going to want any title changes to happen. I know we said that about France, but then we only got the women's tag team changing. So for this one, I can't see them changing a belt out in Saudi. I think the whole show is going to be to crown the king and queen, and that's the only sort of crowning that crowd's going to see. So I think that Becky retains here.
Okay.
Maybe the next PLE, Liv will get the belt. Because I think that Liv needs to get the belt for when Rhea does return, because I think that'll be your story going into Mania, maybe. Is Rhea wanting her belt back? Liv being on the revenge tour
It,
of
it
trying to
yeah,
take out Rhea.
I think okay. I understand what you're saying. I'm still going to stay with Liv. The only reason why I say that, you brought up the contract thing. Being champion doesn't necessarily mean better pay or anything like that. It just means she's holding the title with some prestige for the time being. Um, yeah, I think Liv take no, I think something's going to happen. I think Triple H, I think, is probably going to give the Saudi shows a bit more credibility, and I think he's going to try and make them feel like they're more important than just a glorified house show. So I think if any of the belts is going to change hands, it's going to be the one with the least to lose. And I'm not talking about the tag titles, the women's tag. I'm talking about the main event titles. So I think the women's one is going to change hands here. But
Fair enough.
that's fine. We can move
Well,
on.
we might have a different champion then because we've got a different result, which works for the predictions video. So we haven't wasted your time this month. So up next we have the undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes putting his belt on the line against Logan Paul, the Maverick, who's managed to weasel his way out of putting the US belt on the line in this one. After he brought his own lawyer to SmackDown and gave a different contract, which is absolutely brilliant. Why hasn't it's never happened before that someone's just gone, hang on, no, I've got my own lawyer here. He doesn't agree with this contract. I want this.
Yeah. And and then Cody Rhodes, in the spirit of wrestling, was just like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. Yeah, Cody Rhodes wins here. You don't build a story over 2 years. Let him beat the tribal chief, and then he loses to Logan Paul in Saudi Arabia. No.
It's happened. Logan's going to come out as Goldberg. He's going to cut backstage of Logan headbutt on a wall before coming out and just squashing Cody Rhodes.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe a DQ. Maybe. Because we all know that Logan Paul hasn't won a match clean for a while. So, how long they're going to keep pushing that he's a shithousery champion with, the brass knucks and Prime things and whoever. Like, I don't even, are they allowed Prime in Saudi? I don't even know.
I imagine it's there because it's a sponsor of WWE. So he said that every PLE will have the big Prime logo on the map. So
Yeah, fine. But well, okay, there's your answer then. But I genuinely think that Cody retains here. There's absolutely no way with the build um for the Bloodline story with Roman Reigns. There's absolutely no way that he's going to drop it here. So there you go.
yeah, I agree with you. Cody Rhodes is keeping the strap here. I think it was a predictable match of sorts when it was champion versus champion. I think when that was the case, it was going to be a DQ finish because you don't want Cody to have both belts because then I think that's just that's a surefire way to slowly get the crowd to turn on him after it's been babyface Cody Rhodes for 2 years.
Yeah.
Um,
and they don't want to because he's selling so much merch.
Yeah, and I've said before, the best, although it's not good for the fans, like the old school fans of having a champion that's never on the shows. Logan is doing a lot with that US belt behind the scenes in terms of what he does on his podcast, just bringing it everywhere. The amount of viewers he gets on YouTube is still insane compared to most other YouTubers. So it does wonders for the company. So I think if it was title versus title, it was a DQ. The fact that Logan's now gone, I'm not putting my belt on the line, it's just for his, makes it even more predictable and that Cody's winning.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It was already a predictable match, but yep, that's that one. Now we come into the two ones, which we're actually going to have to make double predictions for this one. So we come to the King and Queen of the Ring finals. So we've already got the Raw finalists. However, we are going to have to predict the semi-final from SmackDown tomorrow. No, well, tomorrow when the podcast goes out. So when I don't know, Friday. We're recording this on. We're recording this on
Wednesday.
Wednesday. So I don't know when it's
You
going to go
forget
out.
how the days of the week go.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'll allow it.
So up first, we will go for the women's Queen of the Ring tournament. We already have Lyra Valkyria in the final from the Raw brand. So the semi-final of the SmackDown brand is going to be Bianca Belair versus Nia Jax.
Okay.
So who have you got winning that one, and then who have you got winning the final?
Okay, so I've got Nia Jax to win the semi-final, and I think, I'd love for it to be Valkyrie, but she's this is why it feels like to me predictable, because Lyra Valkyrie has just come up from NXT, where she has been NXT champion for a while. She's just come up to the main roster. Do they do one of two things? Do they absolutely strap a rocket to her and put her into and make her queen of the ring, and then everything that comes with that, and then more and more and more and more? Do they put all their eggs in that basket, or do they go the route of, do we want a shithouse heel that's doing so much better than they were before, who can literally be like queen of the ring and be like, a powerhouse going forward? I think Nia Jax is going to win the semi-final and then win the final against Lyra Valkyrie, and it'll be a case of, Lyra Valkyrie now has, she's done so well to get to the final, like she's done really well, but she couldn't she just didn't have that thing that gives her like quite a good push now to continue the momentum that she gained from getting to the final, to go for other things, to be in that mix. So I think Nia Jax wins semi-final, wins final.
I was hoping that we'd have different opinions on this, but I agree with you. No,
It just make you and me would be watch wrestling for how, like, so long. You don't bring someone up from the developmental, which with all due respect NXT is developmental. You don't bring them straight into the main event. Put them in a tournament where they got to go through multiple different people to then get to the final and then win. Like, then where does she go from there? She hasn't got any. Whereas Nia Jax has been around for a while. She's been a champion. She's done things. This is her stepping stone to her next phase, her next evolution of her character, which she's doing great work with.
I think what you're going to get on Friday is going to be Bianca Belair versus Nia Jax. I think that Damage Control is going to get involved and take Bianca out, so Nia gets through. Then you have the face of Lyra versus the heel of Nia in Saudi.
Yep.
I think that it depends, because, like we say at the start of the video, we have no idea what this tournament means. And I think if it's a nothing tournament again, which it has been over the years, like, it's not recent years, I should say. It used to mean something, but nowadays it's just you get a fancy cape and a scepter and you change your name for a few months. But I can see Nia Jax being queen of the ring, either going one of two ways. Either one, she starts calling herself the tribal queen because she's technically part of that.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Or you have Nia Jax just basically stamp on the crown and go, I don't need that. Just like full heel, just absolutely shatter it in a heel way. But if you look at, but I think Nia has to win this, because if you look at the road they've taken, Nia has beaten Naomi in the first round, Jade Cargill in the second round. She then could get through Bianca Belair to get to the final. Whereas Lyra has faced Dakota Kai, Zoe Stark, and then the only real challenger in Io Sky. So it's not exactly, one of them things is a bit better than the other. And I think that Nia's gonna clean up in the Queen's one and become your queen of the ring, your tribal queen.
Yeah.
And
it just makes the most sense at this point, really.
Yeah, it does.
Bianca Belair doesn't need that.
No. Bianca Belair's got the tag belts on the go.
Yeah.
Lyra, as you say, she's got the blessing of Becky Lynch, but she's just come up. I think that this is tournament getting to the finals already enough of like a this is what she can do sort of display for her. She doesn't need to win just yet.
Yep.
But I think she'll still put on a good show out there. And the final match off this pay-per-view is the King of the Ring tournament where we have Gunter in the final versus either Tama Tonga or Randy Orton.
Okay. Well, Randy's winning his semi-final match. I'm sorry. Tama Tonga is not ready. Like, not in a nasty way. I don't mean that like he's not good. I mean, he's literally been on the roster for a hot minute. Like, he has not had time to really explore his character. He's just a muscle. Like, he could be under a balaclava and a shield vest. Like, you know, he could do the same job that Solo Sikoa's got him doing at the moment, right? So Randy Orton's going over there now. The one I'm having trouble with is the Gunther Randy Orton final. So my reasoning is, do we go with Gunther because he's the ring general? He can now be the king general or something, you know, something ridiculous like that, right? Or do we give the win to Randy Orton because being king of the ring is the only thing he hasn't done in his career, and we know that he's winding down. We know that we don't have Randy Orton for another 10 years. That would be great, but we know it's not likely. So do we and he's one of Triple H's boys, you know, like do we let him have King of the Ring and have a face king and a heel queen, or do we have a heel king and queen? Not that it really matters because they don't really interact, but do you know what I mean? Like that's why I'm finding it really, really hard to decide. But I think because it means less to Gunther, in my opinion, because he needs to be elevated into the main event picture. But winning King of the Ring is not going to do that for him, in my opinion. Again, I don't know what happens when you become King of the Ring this time now, because it's not Vince's King of the Ring. Oh man, I'm gonna go with Randy Orton because I know who you're picking. I know who you are gonna pick. So I'm gonna go with Randy Orton because I think the only thing he hasn't done is win King of the Ring, and I think having a face king and a heel queen kind of makes sense because then you've got a thing. But again, I don't know what being King of the Ring means anymore. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Orton.
Okay. Well, I think you already know who I'm going to go for in the final, but I am going to say that Tama Tonga gets through to the final.
Oh, okay.
I think that the Bloodline are going to, or Bloodline 2.0, as you will interfere, cost Randy, which means the feud between Randy and the likes of Solo and the Bloodline can roll on SmackDowns for a little bit longer, putting Tama Tonga into the final. I think that we get to the final of Tama Tonga and Gunther, and this is where I'm torn now, because either again the Bloodline get involved and we introduce maybe Jacob Fatu finally makes his debut, because we already had one come in France, so they're not like aside from doing these debuts in foreign soil, or the one that I'm going to go for is Gunther wins the final, becomes the Ring General or King General, as whatever he wants to be known as. However, I've seen photos of the crowns here that they're going to get, and they look absolutely fucking spectacular.
Oh, okay. Like I haven't seen them.
They actually look incredible. Like, a lot of work's gone in, so I feel bad saying that Nia's just going to fucking flatten us now.
Oh, okay.
Because this looks like it's worth a shit ton of money. But I could see... So what I was going to say is I could see Gunther getting rid of the crown, because their background when Imperium come out is like the pillars and all stuff like very Greek and Romanesque. So I think he would get like the laurel. What's it called? Like a laurel to come in, and he'd change it to that. So it's something subtle that a king would wear, not
So like a
Not
conqueror, like Caesar
yeah,
or
yeah,
Kaiser.
yeah, because he's left exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. See,
yeah.
so we've got because I think that he could then he's been the general, and it's got him the IC belt for the longest reign. If he then becomes king, he could still dominate the ring in his own way, like have these banger matches, and it keeps him out of the title picture for now because it doesn't look like he's going straight into the title picture as we all thought he would when he lost the IC belt. And people could like try and almost dethrone him in quotation marks as him as this king, but he could have Kaiser as a general. Then he could promote Kaiser to a general under his
Okay.
regime and makes his sort of the ring general because now that Imperium's imploded, um, they've got
Well, that iteration has imploded because
yeah,
technically you could say that the fact that Roman Reigns and the Usos aren't on TV, that it's not the bloodline, but it is the bloodline. You
yeah,
know, like so that's why I say Bloodline 2.0 because it's the new version.
yeah. So I think that you could do that. You could also have because they're together as a couple in real life. You could bring Tiff Kaiser together as the two generals underneath. Gunter as his king.
Nah, she's got her own thing going on at the moment.
Um,
She's in way more important feuds at the moment. So
how dare you say that the King of the Ring is not as important as the women's belt? How dare you? But no, yeah. So I think Gunter. So we've got two different picks. So we actually haven't wasted the people's time.
no, no, I
We will point out that there's
yeah,
no points for the semi final match on SmackDown.
no.
We're not counting them. We just had to predict them,
Or
otherwise we wouldn't have a clue who's in the final.
true, yeah. But although if we get that wrong, so if it ends up being a Gunther Tamatonga final, my prediction's already wrong.
Yeah,
So, but
yeah.
I don't know. I just yeah. I was really hung up on the Gunther. Like, is Gunther going to be like? What does it get him? And I was like, well, not a lot. He's already the ring general, and then they give him the title of the king. It's like, okay, I can see how that would lend to his character, but he's just come off of one of the best, intercontinental champion runs in recent history. Like he's on a cool down at the moment. They've broken up that version of Imperium. Now it's just Kaiser and Gunther. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was the next step. But at the same time, like we don't know how long Orton's got left. He might only have a year left in his thing, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna hang it up at WrestleMania next year. And the only thing he hasn't done is win King of the Ring. So maybe it's just a thing that they want to tick off. Because I'm gonna go on record just quickly at the end here and just say that I don't think King of the Ring means anything. I think it's literally going to be a tournament, you win it, and it doesn't do fuck all. It's just like, here's the crown, yay! You can be called King of the Ring. Well, what does it get me? The crown. Do I get a title shot? No, but you get a crown. Oh, I see where this is going. Okay, so that's my opinion. It's just something so that when Randy Orton gets, when he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, which he inevitably will, they can be like, he's been this many times intercontinental champion. He's been this many times champion. He's been US champion. He's been this. He's been that. He's been King of the Ring. Like he can tick it all off. That's just the way I'm
Yeah,
thinking anyway. Anyway,
that makes sense.
yeah.
But that's it. That's your show for Saturday. I don't know what time it starts UK time, but I think again it's going to be an early one for us in the UK, and the
Yeah,
Americans will
I
have to
don't.
stay up late because let me see what it is on the UK time.
I don't know.
I'll quickly do it.
Yeah. Did you know that the inaugural King of the Ring tournament was in 1985?
1985.
Yeah, that was the inaugural King of the Ring. 1 year after I was born.
So,
So
nice. I didn't know it was that old.
yeah, it's sporadically back to back. But then it didn't also happen for over 5 years. I think that was more recently as well.
So we have here that it is 6 p.m. on Saturday
There you go.
for the UK. It is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the US East Coast, and 10 a.m. Pacific Time US. So I'm guessing that's the West Coast.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it. Enjoy King of the Ring. We
Yep.
will be back. There is a podcast on the channel. There are pack openings on the channel. Universe mode will return when we get a better schedule.
Yep.
Set. We will. We're not dropping it. It will return.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Definitely keeping it up.
Check out of the links down below for both our streaming platforms. And until then, it's bye from me.
And it's bye from me.